What is up YouTube? Welcome back to another low-level class progression guide for Modern Warfare 2. This is the series where I showcase the best attachments for our weapons starting from level 1 all the way up to max level. And today, we will be checking out the 556 Icarus progression and then the best possible class at the end. Let's get started. I'm a little sick, so you might have to excuse my voice, I'm sorry about that, but let's go ahead and begin here where you start out with the level 2 category where you have the underbarrel. The only underbarrel that you can actually put on because you already unlocked it is the M4's F-Tac Tiger grip. This grip will help with the aiming stability, which is very nice to have, plus now they've actually reduced the aim down sight speed debuff that you get off of using all these types of grips. So let's put on the F-Tac Tiger grip at level 2. Then at level 3 we're gonna be unlocking the ability to put on a muzzle, and for that we'll want to put on the LMG SX. It'll help a little bit with the recoil, but it won't really hurt our aim down sight speed, so you might as well just put it on at level 3. Then at level 4 we're gonna be unlocking the F-Tac Cold Forge 16-inch barrel, but this is honestly gonna hurt us way too much, so don't put it on. Skip it until level 5 where you get the optic, and for this, if you have any optics that are already unlocked, then put it on. Otherwise, if you like the iron sights, then go ahead and stick with those, but I personally will definitely be putting on the Slimline Pro. I don't like the iron sights at all, so this is what I will go with. Now, surprisingly enough, there's really not much else to put on here until level 10. We actually want to skip 6, 7, 8, 9 up until you get to level 10 where you get the F-Tac Castle Comp for the muzzle. For this one, we're going to be replacing the GSX for that F-Tac Castle Comp because it helps us a lot with the horizontal recoil and our vertical recoil without hurting our aim down sight speed too much. And this will be very important to have because the horizontal recoil on this gun is not really the best. So at level 10, let's put on the F-Tac Castle Compensator. Then at level 11, we get the ability to put on a rear grip. For this one, we unlocked an actually pretty good one here with the M4 at level 8, the second ZX grip, so we're going to be putting that on to the Icarus. Anything that helps our recoil without hurting our aim down sight speed is a good attachment to have, so let's take advantage of it and put it on at level 11. Then, right after 11, we have the number 12 where we put on the F-Tac SB barrel. This barrel is very nice. It actually helps out our recoil control just a tiny little bit, although it doesn't actually say so, but it does help it. And it doesn't hurt aim down sight speed, it actually helps it. So you really have the best of both worlds here, so put on the F-Tac SB barrel at level 12. Then you might notice that anything else after that at level 13, you get the M16, 14, the VX Pineapple, which some people might like, but it's honestly not as good as the F-Tac Tiger grip. And then at level 16, you get the weapon tuning, which is just about it. There's actually only 16 levels for the 556 Icarus. This is a very nice gun though, so let's work on that tuning right now. First, let's begin with the most simple one. For the optic, if you have one on, put it all the way up to far. This will of course help with your visual recoil, so that is very important. Then we move on to the rear grip, where we put on the recoil steadiness all the way up to plus 0.32 ounces, and then the width on the bottom side, the sprint to fire speed, down to negative 0.16 inches. Then for the underbarrel, we put up the weight to positive 0.36 ounces for that recoil stabilization, which we definitely need when you only have these attachments. And then on the bottom side, you want to move up the length to positive 0.12 inches for that aiming idle stability, which is going to help with your recoil in general. Then for the muzzle, we put the weight up to plus 0.28 ounces for the recoil stabilization once again, and then on the bottom side, we increase the length to plus 0.23 inches for the visual recoil. And last but not least, for the barrel, we really want to move up the weight to plus 0.34 pounds for the recoil steadiness once again, and then move the length down to negative 0.04 inches on the bottom side for the aim down sight speed. And this is the best attachment and tuning combination that you're going to have for the Icarus 556 and the levels at which you get each attachment and when to put it on. Now let's move on to the best class that you could possibly build for the Icarus 556, and this one is going to be quite different. We're of course going to begin with the optic, where we put on the Slimline Pro because what other optic can you possibly put on that looks as good? I don't think there's any more, so that's what we're using today. Then for the rear grip, you want to put on the second ZX grip because it's still the best one since it doesn't hurt your aim down sight speed and it helps a lot with the recoil. Then for the muzzle, let's use the X10 Havoc 90. I found this one to be the best muzzle for the recoil pattern of the Icarus. Horizontal and vertical recoil control, while it doesn't hurt your aim down sight speed that much. Then once again for the barrel, we want to use the F-Tac SB barrel. It's a short barrel, but it's not about the size, it's all about what pros it has, which that would be the aim down sight speed, and it has no recoil penalties. In fact, it actually helps your recoil, but it doesn't even say so, which means it also has great personality. So let's put on the F-Tac SB barrel for the best class, and then lastly for the laser, we want to put on the FSS OLED laser. But if you don't want to show yourself when you're aiming down sight, then you definitely want to put on the Schlager Pec Box 4. In my case, I don't really care, so I'm going to be putting on the FSS OLED laser just because it helps the most when it comes to aim down sight speed. And now for the tuning, which is very important, you want to move the eye position all the way up to far to help with your visual recoil control. The rear grip, you want to do the same thing as for the native 5.56 Icarus, which is increase the weight to plus 0.32 ounces to help with the recoil steadiness, and then on the bottom side, decrease the width to negative 0.16 inches to help with your sprint to fire speed. Then for the muzzle, we're going to be looking at the weight here on the left hand side, which you want to increase to plus 0.41 ounces. Once again for the recoil stabilization, and then on the bottom side, increase the length to 0.15 inches to help with your visual recoil. Then for the barrel, just like we did with the native one, you want to increase the weight to plus 0.34 pounds, because what is an LMG if it doesn't have great recoil? And then on the bottom side, we want to decrease the length to negative 0.04 inches to help with your aim down sight speed. And last but not least, for the FSSO LED laser, you want to increase the weight to plus 0.29 ounces to help with your aim walking steadiness, which helps a lot when you're actually shooting and moving at the same time. And then on the bottom side, for the zeroing distance, you want to decrease that to negative 13.16 feet. It doesn't have to be exact, it just has to be somewhere around that area to help with your aim down sight speed, which is always very nice to have. And now taking this thing to the range real quick so that you can see the recoil and how far and easily you can control it. Look at that. That was it. That was just it. Now let's look at the recoil pattern real quick here, and as you can tell, it goes up for the first, I don't know, maybe 15-20 bullets more or less, and then it starts leaning towards the right just a little bit, so that is very easy to control. And now let me try to control it. Let me give it a try here. Let's see what I can do. As you can tell, it goes up just a little bit, and now I'm just having to control to the left, and that's about it. That is about the recoil that you get here. I pulled down just a little bit too much, but as you can tell, it's very easy to control. It jumps around just a little bit, so you might not be able to take this at too far of ranges, but in the end, this 5.56 Icarus build here is amazing. I think it's the best one that you could possibly get, and I really hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and if you have any other recommendations, then put them down there. I will look, I will read them, and I'll add them to the list. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one. AuxOwl out. You want to increase the weight to plus 0.29 ounces.